The world was in pain and negativity. You made us hold on to the positive thoughts. Oh MINLA, you boosted us with your smiles. Oh MINLA, you've come so far, guiding us to the light. Inspired both young and old with patience and mindfulness. We thank you, oh MINLA, we thank you. This gift that you gave us is larger than life. To go ahead with confidence and smile, we thank you, oh MINLA, we thank you. M for mindfulness, I for innovation, N for newness, L for loyalty, A for activeness. You gave us the direction. Oh MINLA, you boosted us with your smiles. Oh MINLA, you've come so far, guiding us to the right. We thank you, oh MINLA, we thank you, oh MINLA, Meena ji and Lalit ji. We thank you for everything.
A global namaste to all of you. A good morning, a very good afternoon, and a very good evening to everybody who is joining us from all over the globe. A very warm welcome to you all to this 59th global session, which is on the MINLA Zoom platform. MINLA, that is Meena and Lalit, who started this Zoom sessions at the beginning of the pandemic in the year 2020 in the month of March. We wanted to make sure we spread love, unity, peace, and caring attitude for all those people who were going through a lot of mental turmoil in their mind during their pandemic. Today, MINLA is truly delighted to have collaborated with the Asian Foundation from Kenya. MINLA is even more excited that we have a speaker from we would say, a living legend, none other than our Dr. Manu Chandaria. We are eagerly awaiting to hear the journey of this living legend. MINLA is also so proud to say that we have not had a personality on our Zoom session of this age category. We will be revealing that very, very shortly. To move on, let me introduce the guest speaker for today. And we title it, The Life of a Living Legend, Dr. Manu Chandaria. Whatever I say today is probably the whole Zoom session it would take me to acknowledge his credentials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick on a few things and introduce a legend, a superstar, a humble human being. Born in the year 1929, ladies and gentlemen, a gentleman who is 92 years of age, going strong. Studied in Nairobi, studied in the Mumbai University in India, also studied in Oklahoma University and got the engineering degree. Currently, he is engaged in work covering many aspects within the framework of a joint Indian family with business interests in more than 35 countries globally. A very happily married man to a lovely lady who's sitting right next to him, our respected Arunaben Chandaria. They have a daughter named Priti and a son named Neil, who are also flourishing in their businesses and in their families. Currently, Manubhai is not only a grandfather, but also a great-grandfather, enjoying the 4 generations in a very nice way. He is currently on the boards of many national and international companies. He is the longest serving member of the University of Nairobi Council. He has also been appointed as the Peace Ambassador of Kenya and as a president and a chairperson of many organizations in Kenya, in Africa, and internationally. He is instrumental in charitable and social work. He actually started the Chandaria School of Business at the United States International University. Education and medical facilities at various centers in Kenya and internationally was his passion. This is something he has thrived on, helping the society at large. The government of Kenya has appointed him as the board of chairman on several organizations. He has been honored, not just nationally, but internationally. He was accredited with an OBE by the Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth II. The Kenyan government has also recognized him by giving him several honorary degrees, one being a doctorate degree of the University of Nairobi. In 2011, the Forbes magazine nominated him as one of the 24 African persons of the year 2011. The government of India has recognized him with the Vishwa Gurjari Award, the Vijay Ratna Award, and the Pride of Gujarat Lifetime, amongst so many others that he's been honored with by the Indian government and personally received by the president of the country, the prime minister of the country also. The government of Korea, Mauritius, Nigeria, South Africa, etc. have acknowledged him and awarded him with great honorary titles. Yet, despite all this, our young Manubhai, at the age of 92, remains a very humble human being, being a loving husband to his wife Arunaben, being a proud father to Neil and Priti and the grandchildren, and recently a great-grandchild too. A big salute to the parents who bore a child like Manubhai, and also a big salute to Manubhai himself, who actually started this empire and has gone so global. At 92, he holds that energy of a fierce lion who is out there to make sure his mission is complete. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us all open up our videos, either send reactions on the Zoom to say a big clap to Dr. Manubhai, and otherwise, let's all welcome him to our Zoom session with a huge round of applause. Manubhai, welcome to our Zoom session on MINLA together with Arunaben. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so proud today. We have Asian Foundation, who Manubhai is a founder member of, I believe so. And we have the president, the chairperson for the Asian Foundation, Mr. Rebello. And we also have Meera Pandit from the Asian Foundation. Meera is going to take on lead from here for a while. So let me, before Meera takes on the floor, I want to give you a brief introduction of this super lovely lady. She's a humanitarian, a philanthropist, and a social worker. Meera is driven individually with an enthusiastic personality, a humanitarian with experience in a multitude of lead roles concerned with promoting human welfare. Since 2015, Meera continues to work As the CEO of the Asian Foundation Kenya, a CSO, and passionately promoting societal reform and welfare. She focuses on philanthropy and development. Her career graph has led her to actively be involved with diplomatic corporations. She represented embassies as the lead intergovernmental focal point to the United Nations Empowering Environmental Program and the United Nations Human Settlements Program, focusing on environmental, sustainability, rural and urban housing. Mira strives to give back to the society in the hope of better lives. Mira, welcome to the MINLA Zoom session once again, and thank you for being part of MINLA today. Welcome, Mira.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lalit. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much for the generous introduction. I think 2 months ago, Meena Ben messaged, and every time she's messaging that, when is Asian Foundation joining us? And all she had to say is, we're hosting Manu Bai, and we said, yes. So I think we have ownership over him, being the founding member of the Asian Foundation. The Asian Foundation has been present since '88. We're non-political, we're non-religious. I'd like to recognize our chairman who has joined us as well, who will be addressing the audience. And mine is really to just thank MINLA, to welcome all the audience, and Manu Bai, who's very, very dear to us. And from all of us from the foundation, I hope and pray that you and your loved ones are keeping safe and well. And thank you.
Thank you, Mira. Over to Mr. Aurelio Ribello. Mr. Ribello, welcome to the MINLA Zoom session. Mr. Ribello is currently the chairperson for the Asian Foundation. Mr. Ribello, welcome. And a brief introduction about this super gentleman once again. Born in Nairobi, he did his early education in Dr. Ribello Gowan School, went to England to study law at Gray's Inn, qualified as a barrister, came back to Kenya, worked with attorney generals under Charles Jonjo. He was appointed as a senior state consul within 2 years, retired and went into private practice, best known for being the lead lawyer for Goldenberg, involved in drafting the new constitution. One of the leaders of the opposition for referendum in 2005, when the government tried to pass the WACO draft constitution. One of the leaders joined the opposition party to proposed draft constitution, addressed the Kenyan nation from Nyayo Stadium for the opposition, referendum defeat of the government, then appointed lead consul to draft the new constitution for opposition in Naivasha. Greatest interest for Mr. Ribello is the current constitution was to protect the right of women, in particular for inheriting and owning their property in their own rights, and to set standards for police conduct and human rights. He's been with the Asian Foundation as chairman in 2010 for 3 years. In 2010, President Moi Kibaki accepted Mr. Ribello's invitation to attend the Asian Foundation annual dinner. For the first time in Kenyan history, Asians were recognized for their contribution to fight for independence in his speech. In his term as the chairman, he hosted 2 Gandhi Jayantis, Day of Non-Violence at the UN, and the second event hosted the Prime Minister of Tibet. He's been re-elected as the chairman for the Asian Foundation. Mr. Ribello, welcome to the MINLA Zoom session. We are truly delighted for Asian Foundation being with us. Welcome, and we'd like you to honor the guest speaker on the Zoom session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be invited to address this great audience, extensive worldwide audience, and in particular to have to say and talk a little bit about our founding father, Manu Chandaria. I don't need to say very much about Manu Bai. Manu Bai is an inspiration to all of us. In the Asian Foundation, whenever we have any issues, any difficulties, we run to him for advice. He is a steady hand at the oar. And in the Asian Foundation, he is also a member of our management committee. He's always given us a lot of assistance, helps with every aspect of our work for the community. If I may briefly touch upon the Asian Foundation, many years ago, the leaders of the Asian communities decided that the Asian Foundation would be the organization, the one organization in Kenya, which would represent all the communities, Indian communities in Kenya. We are non-religious, and non-political, and certainly non-tribal, as you can see from the fact that I'm chairman. We carry out various projects in support of the community, and generally we do this very quietly. So you will often hear the complaint that the Asian Foundation does not do anything. It does not advertise what it does, etc. We do not like to advertise ourselves. We do our work on the quiet. This is a support to the community, the needy people of Kenya. And sometimes we get together to protect the community, particularly in times of difficulties, political difficulties, etc. The best way you can get to know what we're doing is to join us. Please go on our website, contact Miraben, and you will get the information, and please become members. That's the best way not only to get to know what we do, but also to assist us in our various projects. Manu Bhai has just...
Ladies and gentlemen, I understand we are having some difficulty with the internet connection in Kenya due to heavy rains. And unfortunately, I think we have just lost Mr. Rebello. Is that correct, Mira? Mira needs to be unmuted, Minabin.
Indeed, I think that is correct. I think we've lost Mr. Rebello through technical difficulties.
Yes.
However, I'd just like to reiterate what he said. Asian Foundation is here to help in any way we can. We have a mentorship program that's on. If anyone wants to be a mentee or a mentor, we've got a wonderful museum gallery dedicated to us, which is going to open soon, which is in conjunction with the Chandaria Foundation, the Sai Memorial, the African Heritage Trust. I think Mr. Rebello would have touched on that. I think he's back. I see him online. Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Rebello is back. Thanks to the technology, ladies and gentlemen, we are still going to be challenged, but not a problem. The show must continue. Mr. Rebello, welcome back.
Thank you. So Mira has covered up, and she's mentioned to you some of the projects that we have. I mentioned the project which we have now started to buy our own office in Westlands. So it will be a very good point of contact on a very permanent basis. We have the projects which are ongoing. The museum project, which is to set up a museum to honor the contribution that that Indians have made to Kenyan society and the formation of the Kenyan nation. This project has the blessing of the government, and a whole section of the museum has been given over to the Asian African Heritage Trust. We expect that this museum will open sometime next month, or if we do not do so, we will certainly be open by Independence Day, the 12th of December. So please get involved, come and see the exhibition when it's ready. But the best way to assist us and to know what we're doing is to become part of the organization. You know most of our members, you know of our fundraising activities, and our community is very generous to us because they see that we perform. Whenever we give a promise, we always perform on the promise. And we have very eminent personalities from our community in the management committee and as members of the Asian Foundation. With those few words, I will not say anything about Manu Bhai. I have spoken in the past about his achievements at various events. Manu Bhai, as you said, is a great industrialist. There's a whole page on him in Wikipedia. I think he's got 11 factories in China and businesses all over the world. But my one enduring and enduring memory of Manubai is that he has spoken very extensively on how businesses are created by joint families. And the views he has expressed, the history that he has spoken of, and the background and the achievement and what is possible with the joint family is now is recorded and has been placed in the library of Harvard University. I do not need to say much more because that's a great achievement in itself. It was very good work, and it's really an honor not to only to him, but it does tell us something about the history of our own community, because if anything, we have achieved success in East Africa, and particularly in Kenya, on a basis which is unusual and extraordinary anywhere in the world, in that we were able as a community to convert what is the normal human pyramid of a few people, rich people at the top, a few educated people at the top, and the majority being poor and uneducated. In Kenya, we've turned that pyramid over, and we've got many more educated people than uneducated people, and so on and so forth. And the reason for that is because we lived as a joint family since independence. There is a lot to learn from it, and the Asian Foundation tries to nurture that idea of a joint family. So we do encourage everyone to join us, and without barring any community, we are, as I said, non-tribal and non-religious. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bello. Thank you for coming on the Zoom session. Now, we actually move on to our lovely lady, who, without her kickstart, the session does not start. This is where we make a pause. This is where we invite our superhuman being, Mrs. Meena Ben Khagram from Nakuru, from the Flamingo City, to give a traditional welcome and give a quick start to the Zoom. Meena Ben, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Manubai, તમને તિલક કરું છું. અરુણાબેન, તમને તિલક કરું છું. બે જણાને ચોખા અને officially welcome. અરુણાબેન, તમારી માટે હાર. Sorry about this. Manubai, that's for you. Thank you. Thank you. Global namaskar to all. Jambo, Karibuni. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Flamingo town of Nakuru, where Lake Nakuru is famous for wildlife and flamingos. Nakuru County is the one where world-famous fastest runners like Eliud Kipchoge are born. And so now, faith. Dr. Lalit and my cute cousin and myself, MINLA Zoom, are super excited to welcome you all here who have joined on Zoom and on Facebook Live. Welcome, Miraben. Welcome, Dr. Rubero, and our chief guest, Manubai. Thank you very much. Manubai is father figure to me. Bibi and Buana, let me introduce to you our backbone of this session, MC Dr. Lalit Soda. He is a professional speaker, chiropractic, and author. He is a recipient of many awards, but he is humbly says don't mention them. But can't help to say recently he's been awarded Marwa Journalist Award. Over to you, Lalit Bhai.
Thank you, Meena Ben. Thank you very much, Manubai. Without taking further time, welcome to both of you, Manubai and Aruna Ben. Manubai, we'll give you a couple minutes to say the introduction as you wish to, and then we'll engage ourselves in sharing the story of the living legend. So the floor is all yours, Manubai.
Minaben, Chandlo, when you did that, Lagan Yad Aavi Gaya. That's almost 70 years back, 66 years back. And thank you to reminding that we are still together.
Good, good. Amen.
Well, I'm very
આશીર્વાદ
pleased.
from your દીકરી તમારી. આશીર્વાદ આપે છે.
Thank you. I'm so pleased that they thought about me and asked me whether I'd like to. I was just thinking whether I should or I should not. But then there is a story to be told, and I thought maybe it might be a good idea. So I am Manu Chandaria. My correct name is Manilal Chandaria, but nobody knows except the passport people and few friends and the family members. Everybody knows me as Manu since I was in the college or earlier than that. And so it's a great opportunity for me to express and show and tell a story. I'm touched by Mr. Ribello and Mira. I thought that I started Asian Foundation to bring all the communities together. Have I been successful? Yes. And when we really look at it, not very much. Why? Because we still find Asians in different pockets all the time. And because we don't have a political strength, it's okay. But I think it's a necessity that we should be able to show ourselves as one people. And that's why the Asian Foundation was created. And I think I'm glad that Mr. Ribeiro and Mira has been here and told us about the foundation. And since then, for 18 years, been running okay, well. So his argument is join Asian Foundation and be a member, contribute towards the ideas and thoughts, because the wonderful thing that we're doing right now at museum will give a history of 150 years of Asians in this country. And that's tremendously important for everybody to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manubai. The story begins now. First of all, right at the beginning, we would like to say a thank you from Meena Ben and myself. We, as the audience, are really interested in knowing what is behind this face of Manubai, what is working in his mind at all times, what happened that you are where you are. So really, we're interested in your autobiography, not a written one, but a spoken one. So hence, we want to ask you several questions about yourself. You were born in the year 1929. The story began then. I would like to give you a few minutes, which is probably not doing justice to you right now, but a few minutes to share with us, to share with the audience, your humble beginnings and where it all started. Manubai, if you may share that.
Thank you, Lalit. I don't know, I should ask you as Dr. Lalit or Lalit?
Oh, you can say Lalit, that's fine.
Thank you. 1929, that was my birth time. I was born in a middle class Indian family, what you call people from Biashara Street. And my father had arrived in this country in 1960 with nothing in his pocket and hoping that he would earn something and then go back to India. It never happened. And we were all, majority of us born here, 8 of us, my 4 sisters, and my 3 other brothers. And it was a joint family. Basically, in the childhood, it was a middle income, small, but very close family. And slowly the family also grew. And with that, my father decided that I had only 3 vernacular, means 3 standard in Gujarati. My mother was illiterate. And she started learning how to read and write at the age of 53. And so he said that, look, if the future of my children are going to be any different than mine, then they should get themselves educated. There's no way a man from nowhere with 3 vernacular thinking in that way was something which was very touching. That how the parents of all our children, whether today or those years, they start looking after the future, not tomorrow, not after a week, not after a month, not after a year. Well, when they talk about and think about is years together, that 40, 50, 60 years, how the family will grow. And this is something which is thanks to all Asian families, whether it's Mina's family, whether your family, whether Rivero's family, whether Mina's family. That's the same story of tremendous amount of hard work, support, and giving, both care and love. And this is how we grew up. And we were just made, and I still remember that when I was about 8 years or 9 years old, my father would get up at 5 in the morning, will get us up at 5 in the morning and make us to make sure that we study. Somehow it was an ideology at that time. If you study in the early morning, it remains here, whether it did or not, and whether we read a comic book or we read another book, he wouldn't know, because couldn't speak, couldn't read, and could not write English. But the question was that the amount of interest that he showed and pressure that he showed, it started coming back to us. My God, suppose he would have not done it, where would it be? And that's the question. Every one of us as a nation must ask ourselves that the sacrifice, the love, the care, the giving these people have done in their lives to make you where you are today. You cannot describe. And to us, I would like to thank all those old parents who thought about us. And my mother being illiterate. It's only the pressure and continuous pressure on us that made it. And then came war, the Second World War. And every Asian community, majority of them who could afford, were sent out of the country. And as such, we were shipped out and we went to Jamnagar. Aruna's family, Aruna and her parents came 1 year later, in 1942. And the whole change of lifestyle, change what we were in Africa and what we see in India, it was something very, very mind-boggling. I still remember the few incidents. When I landed in Mumbai, I couldn't believe my eyes. The buildings were 10-story high. There were the big avenues, the tram going around, the double-decker buses. And I looked at the people and asked myself, hey, they look just like me. How come? And at that time when I left here, there was one 2-story building, State House, and there was another building in the government road. That's all. So we just couldn't believe that. And that made me to think and put, it is possible. It's human endeavor. Unless and until you can work on it and put your heart at it, you can. And that's one. And then story begins, and then I went to university. I graduated. And during the university, what built my character and what built my brothers and my cousins, there were 4 of us, my 2 cousins and my elder brother. What built us was we joined Gandhian movement. Mahatma Gandhi at that time was running Quit India movement. And we were just absolutely attracted, magnetized by his ideology and his sacrifice. And we just became Gandhian in philosophy, Gandhian in action. And because of that, for all the 4 years, we had to spend every day 1 hour. If we didn't spend 1 hour, then there'll be a patch on the shirt. And all our wardrobe was 3 shirts, 2 pair of pants, and 1 pair of socks. But that attitude of giving, sacrificing for a cause, absolutely came from Gandhi with that honesty. And so my parents then decided that we should go to United States. It is 2 of us.
Manubhai, may I just hold you there? This is getting very interesting. Now, when you were following the Gandhian movement and decided to just have the 3 shirts and 2 pairs of shorts, and that was the spun khadi material, how old were you then?
I was about 13, 14-year-old, 13-year-old.
So at that very young age, you had developed a liking for such a philosophy where most of the 13, 14-year-olds today are interested in their mobile phone or playing the latest game that has come on it. What was it that was going through your mind at that time that you were so attracted? Yes, you saw the buildings were different. You saw the environment was different. But what was going in your mind at that such young an age that this is what you want to do?
Well, the point is that when we went to school in Jamnagar,
Yes.
Princely State, we started reading. We never read so much in this country. We read almost every Gujarati writer, every, whether Kanalal Munshi, Ramanlal Parekh, you name it. And the whole idea was to see. And all of a sudden, we found ourselves mentally quite differently, feeling different, ideology-wise, thinking-wise, because there was a background to push now. In Kenya, there was a very limited background. But there, when we opened up to so much of literature, so much of reading, that it sometimes made us to believe that, oh my God, would we be reading for 6 hours, 7 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours? But it built us. And that made us to feel, and then when we went to Jamnagar, to Mumbai, and joined the Mahatma Gandhi, we were ready that there is no way, if this man has given all his life to get independence for India, so what are we? A drop in an ocean. But the building of a character of a human being is how he's associated, whom he is influenced by. If I'm influenced only by this, then obviously there will be a very different thing. But
Manu Bhai, sorry, I'm going to pause here again because this is again getting very interesting. Those ideology, those ideas were installed in you, or was this something that was just self-built, that you went to India and you started reading the literature? Did somebody guide you into it? Or was this your own perception, your own thinking, or your own energy and effort? Or were you being told? And second one, while we are on this question, when you say we read and we went to India, when you say we, is that you, your brother, and your two cousins? Is that the four you're talking about?
4 plus all the people. I think that ship had about almost 600 people, passengers. Out of that, 300 ended up in Jamnagar.
Oh, okay.
So there are so many that I knew in Nairobi, from Thika, from Nyeri, that all ended up over there. Now, the question of reading was just that what was the style at that time? You felt so little, so small. You didn't know anything. And you feel embarrassed. When you speak to a guy at that time in school, my school, when he speaks to me, I feel so embarrassed because I know nothing. And he can quote poems, he can quote Jayarchan Meghani, he can quote so many things. And that made us to believe that, hey, come on now, how come he can know it and I can't? And that's the only way we pressed ourselves. And it was nothing but an environment to become someone. And this is what is important for everyone. You decide that you want to be someone, you will be one. You don't think about it.
Yeah, and at that young age of 13, 14, when most of them are playing cricket on the streets, you were reading books. You wanted to become something, and a personality that obviously what you are today as Dr. Manu Chandaria. Did you anticipate that when you were 13, 14 years old, that that's your ultimate goal, that's your goal you want to get to? Did you know that then?
No, I didn't know, but I remember that one thing, that when I went to India and then I started looking at Mumbai and looking at the people in the world, the Birlas and the Tatas, and even they were there. They were all there. And so many of them, not only one, Ambalal Sarabhai, Kasturba Lalbhai, you name it. And all of a sudden, we found ourselves like a small drop. And we thought that, hey, come on, these people have got the same thing as we have. 2 hands, the same 2 eyes, the same hair. But unless until there's some, look at there, and life stories they've read for everyone that you can talk. Ganchalyam, Birla used to tell every life story that came along our way, we read. And nobody made it top. And nobody started top. Everybody started from nothing to something. And that created an ideology that, hey, there is a possibility. But you could not speak out all this at that time, because you don't think people will just believe in you. And only thing that was left for you was to prove it to happen.
Absolutely correct. So that ideology of becoming somebody by reading biographies, by reading people's success stories, whether they have been business successful or like Mahatma Gandhi, who was fighting for independence and individual, or any other business celebrities or successful identities. So you read their biographies and you got inspired by them. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Perfect. Now, that led obviously to your education in India, that led to your education in Oklahoma, and you graduated as an engineer. Is that correct?
That's right.
So when you graduated in the States, What drove you back? Because most of the people, when they go from, say, African countries or Indian countries to America or to United Kingdom, they make that as their home. You decided to graduate from Oklahoma and then move back to Kenya? Is that what happened?
Yes, yes, because at that time, the strongest attraction was my family. I was a family person, and there were about, at that time, 30 people in the family. And that love and affection, that no, I have come over here for a purpose, is to educate myself. And then I will go back to work with my family, to work for the family, to make very sure that my family builds itself to something. And this was the ideology. And once you got an ideology, nothing stops you. Yes, when I was studying, there were people from Kenya in my university who lived there, who got married there, who had children over there, who got divorced over there. That's all happening. But to us, there was one single, that why have we come over here? And the come over here was just to educate ourselves and then go back and serve our family and our community.
Okay, so let's speed fast the journey of your educational years where you finished your education in the United States, in Oklahoma, and then you returned back. Now, you had a business waiting for you when you came back, or was it something that you started?
Yes, we had a business waiting for us.
Okay.
In such a way that the business was very, very simple. When we came over here, Aruna's family and my family were partners since 1935. And because of that, the partnership started the first marriage of Aruna's eldest sister to my eldest brother. That doesn't mean that I had to marry her or she has to marry me. But it started from there. And then by the time when we went, we were a group of we were probably the top group in Kenya. At that time, when we went again, our parents went into what they call speculation. MP Shah was our partner. MP Shah was at 5% in our company. But what happened was that our parents, started speculating in a major way in India while we went to the school and then ultimately to university. And with a result, sum total of speculation is very little. Instead of being 85% shareholders within two families, we became 20% shareholders of the company. Because every time we wanted money, the money came from East Africa and the shares were given, and slowly, slowly, we became a minority. So when we went back, at that time, even the partnership broke. And we had only two businesses left. One was Premchand Brothers, which had started my father in 1917. And that was a wholesale provision store. It sold everything for the British people and for the people who, at that time, my grandfather was very upset that somebody reported that we were selling salmon in tins. And he said, come on, stop, close everything, come back. So the question was that was one business which grew very well in East Africa. And the second business was a manufacturing industry, Kalu Works, with 40 people working, started in 1929. And when I joined, it was 1950. In 1950, there were 40 people working, and I was the second engineer in that plant. And my brother was also an engineer, not engineer, but he was senior to me, so he's ahead of me.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, a little bit of a personal question also, Manubhai, if you don't mind me asking you this.
Yeah.
A business partnership led into a life partnership. You married the daughter of your father's business partner. Is that safe to assume that?
Absolutely.
And so did your brother. Now, that business partnership of your parents and your marital partnership, did that create at all a little rift or any?
Well, the marriage of my eldest brother was being a partners, being together, getting families together, joining family-wise and business-wise.
Correct.
And when we got married, it was many years back after that. At that time, there was no question of that I had to, because we were not partners at all.
Okay.
They were on their own, we were on our own. But I liked her even before I went away to the United States.
So love was budding at a very young age.
Yeah. I was in Jamnagar. I lived in Jamnagar at that particular time. And so it was just so happened that I liked her. When I came back, she also came back at that time from India to Kenya. And obviously, looking around, at least the face that I knew, that I touched my heart.
So here, I'm going to ask you a very personal question once again. Who made the proposal? Did you or did she?
Who?
Come on, Aruna Ben. Who asked
God.
first?
Those days, it was the man who had to take the lead. I proposed her.
Wonderful.
I would like to. Obviously.
So see, this is the fun of talking to some very successful legends in history, because then we find the true reality that they are also human beings at heart. Their heart also throbs when they see the love of their life. So Manubhai's heart was throbbing for Aruna Ben, and he couldn't hold to propose to her. Lovely. That's so nice to hear, Manubhai. Very good. Even at a young age of 92, his heart is still throbbing because the heartthrob is sitting right next to him. Thank you for sharing that. Manubhai, we'll move on. So you came back to Kenya, you started the businesses, and one thing with our conversation, which was very interesting, that took place in your lives, you started acquiring business after business after business, and that business acquisition that you started and making a huge business acquisitions at every step. What was the driving force behind that? Was there somebody guiding you? Was there your intellect helping you? Or what was going on at that time that you started acquiring all those businesses?
Well, let me say that the success of the family is the family. It's not Mr. Manu Chandaria. Everybody played his own role. Some more, some little. But because I'm at the helm of a business here, people know me as what I am. But then people don't know me. If I go to Geneva, then nobody would know me. And we still have a very big setup there. And if I went away to Toronto, nobody would know me except the name Chandaria. So I think that it's a joint family business. And the two things that I wanted to talk to before I will start a business expansion. When we came over here, four of us many a time sat together after our work at 6:37, we'll sit together and think, hey, come on now. Are we going to be sitting over here? I have a master's degree in engineering. My brother had a food engineering degree. My cousin had a civil engineering from Pune. Are we going to sit over here and work for this 40-man company and 6 members of the family on top? Or why don't we just walk away and make from 9 to 5, find a good job? Because being a successful engineer at that time, immediately I'll get a job. But then at that particular time, the philosophy of Gandhi, sacrifice, and we look back and say, hey, where are we and how are we here? Surely we are here because of our intelligence, before our hard work, but who put us here? Our family. My mother was illiterate. My father is only 4 vernacular. Are we going to just say, thank you, goodbye, you've done good for us? Or we say, no, we will continue with you and we'll build your ambitions and make it bigger than what is possible. So that was the most important part, the philosophy of sacrificing. And that was the sacrifice we were trying to give and say, irrespective of what we are now, we have to do something for our family. And that's the final, after 4-6 months of discussion, 8 months of discussion, close the chapter and at it. And now, how did we create the business? From 40 people, we became 100 people. And our parents were very surprised because for few years they'd been sitting over there with 40 people, from 100 and then 150, then 200, then 400 people. And at that time, we thought that we have got much more possibility than what we are today. And we must do something about it. And so came the idea and thoughts that how do we build? CarWorks became 800 people, but it's only one country. At that time, we had an advisor in the name of Sir Ernest Wasey. Sir Ernest Wasey was born out of a wedlock. Mother was a vaudeville artist, and he remained behind the curtains, and he spoke every dialogue that went on. At the age of 4, he could speak and repeat all the dialogues that went on the front of the stage. And then slowly he worked, because the father died, father had already left, mother had already died, and he went through a horrible life. At the age of 20, somebody called him, that, why don't you come and help me out in my Kitale farm? So he went to Kitale. And after a year, he said, hey, now I put you right. Now I don't want to stay here. I'm not a village man. I'm a city man. So I want to go to Nairobi. Came to Nairobi and took a job as a ticket collector at a Royal Theatre. From there, he started understanding the settlers and became the mayor of the city. And after that, he became the minister of Kenyan government. So when we were taking his advice, he was minister of finance in Kenya. And he said, listen, you're a large family and one country is not good enough for you. Move, go to neighboring countries. You've got enough manpower. So we went to Tanzania, opened up. We went to Zambia, opened up. We went to Uganda, opened up. We went to Ethiopia, opened up. And before long, by 65, we were already a Pan-African company. And then he said, hey, outside Africa. And then we started outside Africa. So it was, yes, when you say, was somebody pushing? No, it was not pushing. It was suggesting. We had to push ourselves. He was suggesting and accepting. And we started accepting that what he says is right. Because this size of a family, intelligent, ultimately cannot stay in one home. And so the business cannot be remain in one home. And so we started. And today we are 40 countries.
Brilliant. So Sir Ernest was the advisory person you had who started advising you initially.
That's right. But
Correct.
Another interesting thing,
Yes.
Sir Ernest Vesey became then, the Julius Nyerere took him in 1961 to become his Minister of Finance. He did that work for 1.5 years, and he was selected by World Bank to become the country representative, a man who has only gone 6 standards.
Landed up with the World Bank.
He was knighted. He took the job at World Bank, remained in Pakistan for 5 years as the head of Pakistan, World Bank Pakistan office. Then came back here, and he had many offers. But he came back to us and said, I had no family life. I didn't have mother, I didn't have father, I didn't anybody. And I love your family. I'm yearning for family life. And I don't think that anybody can give me beside you people.
Wow.
And I don't want too much from you guys. Just give me enough so that I can live and survive. That's all. But he became an advisor to us, and not only an advisor to us, but for 18 years he was with us, made us very different than normal Indian families in this country. Now, did Chandaria's growth was also due to, yes, it was one man also, him. What was the second one? Our own strength to remain together. Number 3, the ambition. We want to be somebody.
Brilliant. So those 3 things, obviously, the ambition, the one-man advice that you got, and the family unity that obviously reached you with the heights of success. So I know when we were having an informal chat, Manubhai, we were talking about that by 1990, you had reached countries and you had had businesses in countries over than the number of 30 at the time. You spread to Singapore, you spread to the United States, you spread to Canada. Now, in those places, when you were getting businesses and acquiring them, did you have any advisory person like Sir Ernest, who were in different countries, who are also giving you a little bit of guidance that this is the business? Or again, with your intuition, with your intellect and everything?
No, it's the family did it. It's not Manu Chandaria alone. Somebody who lived in Geneva and London, they found the businesses. We got together and met every 6 months so that we could go through and see how can we stretch ourselves a little longer, a little bigger. And then the people who went to the United States, to Canada, again started looking for their own businesses. People who went to Southeast Asia, again started looking for them. And a time came when there was pressure. Everybody's pulling from one to another side. But it was a good pull. It was not a push. It was good pull. And that made us even stronger because everyone, if I brought a proposal for Africa, then they have to weigh it. And everybody together sat together and decided. There were people didn't agree to sometimes once in a while, yes, but mostly not. It's the unity that built what we are today.
Brilliant. So in fact, that's where I was going to head my next question to Manubhai. You have really emphasized family, 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 joint family concept. Your business has thrived, as you say, because of the joint family and the intellect that everybody had. Everybody brought something to the table. Now, obviously, everybody has an independent head, everybody has an independent brain. So my question to you was that I'm sure we are all human beings. Were there any arguments? If there were any of those things that one agreed and the other disagreed, how did you solve that? Did you let that affect your business? Did you let that affect your personal relationships? Obviously, it's a difficult situation, but how did you guys overcome all that? When I say you guys, your brothers, and then their children, and then their children, and everybody has a different opinion. How do you overcome all that?
All right. The first overcoming was very simple in a term. You agree, you disagree for everything, but you then agree to disagree and get on with the job. What is agreed? I might have a different view. Once it's agreed by the 12, 13, 14 people who are in the family, it goes. And that made us that what they call a real necessary ingredient of gluing together. That everybody pushed and had the same goal, didn't have different goals. And so agreeing is always a possibility, and disagreement does take place. Sometimes they get a little hot and then get out of the meeting for 10 minutes and then come back and have a glass of cold water and sit down again. The point is that ultimately the whole charm was that the growth was taking place and everybody was pushed and everybody wanted to show the best that they can.
Perfect. Thank you. In our conversation, we also came through a statement that you used very nicely. You said, getting involved with people, the concept is great. You absolutely thrived on that concept of getting involved with people. Share that with us, if you may.
Well, the point is that now, when you want to expand, you cannot be at one place. And so we started this professionalizing our business long before any Indian family in this part of the world started thinking that I can have a Mr. X who is from India, who is Y, is from somewhere else, who will run my plant. That means you got to start bringing them into the family, making them a member of your family. Now, does that mean that they would not take advantage? Yes, some might have taken advantage. But if you leave everything to them and believe in them and grind them with you like this, then the same philosophy goes, because they all know that it's not philosophy of everything going in the pocket of Mr. Manu Chandaria. There are 40 members, there are 50 members, and there's an extended family. And then we started thinking about it, there are how many people who work for us? As much as that we are responsible for ourselves, we must have also responsible for them. And today, worldwide, we've got 40,000 people. Before we take any action anywhere, we got to start thinking. Now, that's the fundamental philosophy, that we are responsible. Our step being taken and not giving the right answers is not acceptable.
So that made you very involved with all the people you work with, all your acquaintances, all your friends, all your business colleagues. And that was your quite a key and a strong statement. You said getting involved to be with them was obviously leading to the power of the strength of your businesses expanding.
Absolutely. And then we're partnership. And we treated partnership as much as us. Maybe a little bit better than us. Because we always felt that he is 50%. So I'm 50%. But if I tell him that in my mind he's 55 and I'm 45, then I can understand what he will be thinking about.
Correct.
And so I think that it's a, and then the whole point was that it was not mine. It was ours. It was not Mr. Manu Chandaria. It was just 55, 60 people at home. It was there. So it's a different psychology that mentally framed us.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Manu Bhai. Now, once again, we have noticed with all the work that you have done, you have very much concentrated in charity work, and especially two areas where education came and where medical facilities came through. You grew big in business, you wanted to give back to the society. Now, these are the two places, education and health, is where you concentrated a lot on. Why was that? What was at your core thinking about education, and what was at the core thinking about medical facilities? So let's start with education. Why did you get involved so much in giving back into education?
Okay, first let me tell you a story about this whole thing, because and when we became about 200 people from 40, four of us, all the four of us, my two cousins and my two brothers. And at that time, we also got the support from my elder two brothers. And we went to our parents and we said, hey, Papa, how about setting up Chandaria Foundation, a charitable institution? He looked at us and he said, there's something wrong with you. I said, what's wrong with me? He said, you lived too long in the United States. We are not Rockefeller. We are not Ford. You got a big hole there. What do you think about that? Come on, get to work. I said, no. We know we don't have the money. In case we create wealth, how about creating an institution which will always attract and make us obliged to serve the society? He didn't like it. He said, get back to work. And so we went to work. After 4 years, when we became 400 people, or 5 years, he came back. And he said, I like your idea. It is 10% of my company. Let's create Chandaria Foundation. And in 55, 56, we created a foundation. One scholarship, that was all we gave. But it started an institution behind our head, all the time reminding that, yes, you are successful, but the people around you must also benefit from your success. And that reminds me of one little interesting. I went to one of the guy who used to be head of the Kellogg University, Kellogg Business School. And he said one of his, and I came down, I went to hear him, and I'd invited him here to Nairobi also. And he said that, success many times is easy. And there are many successful people in life. But then to turn success into significance, that art and that capacity, very few have. And so to me, it was just purely that, look, how can we push it up? And slowly, then we decided what we should be doing. And again, the advice was, get involved, not writing checks, get involved. And that's why I ended up in Kenya, in, 30 organizations, some chairmen, some vice chairmen, some directors, something. Why? It was putting pressure on me on work. And yet I decided to spend that time. And it really paid. That, yes. And what was the missing between our parents and us? Education. If we were not educated, we would not be there where we are. So education was the, and then we see pain and compassion being a Jain number one. That compassion, seeing somebody unhappy, you can handle it. But seeing somebody in pain, that is, you can't handle. And for that, you need to see what can you do for them. So hospitals that we support is only people don't go to just visit a hospital for joy. They're in pain. And when they are in pain, nothing comes to their mind except how can they become better. And I think that these two areas of education, because otherwise we'd be also on River Road or Biashara Street in a bigger shop probably. And then this giving in removing the pain touches our heart and compassion. Because to give, you can't give otherwise.
Perfect. Now, I have another question. We have a lovely personality sitting next to you, Arunaben. There is always a big saying that goes, behind every successful man, there is a woman. I'm sure in the 63 years of your married life, did I say 63 or 66, Manubhai? 66. 66 years of your married life, where you proposed to Arunaben in those days. Arunaben has been with you, shoulder to shoulder in this journey of the legend, a living legend. But I would still say the truth will lie there, that behind every successful man is a woman. Arunaben, what was your role in all this when Manubhai was always busy doing things, creating businesses, business opportunities, socializing? Where and what did you do?
I didn't do anything except sleep and eat.
Oh,
Pleasure.
I can see Sharda Ben Madhwani really clapping her hands to that.
That is true.
No, Arunaben, I'm sure Shakti is the power, the energy, the feminine energy of a man who runs and thrives on it. So you provided the fuel for Manubhai to keep going. Sorry, Manubhai?
Yeah. Let us first say a few words in Gujarati. Tell you.
Ha bolo, Gujarati ma bolo.
Bol.
Suki.
Tamaro, tame ek સ્ત્રી બની, એક વાઇફ બની, તમે એક ધર્મપત્ની બની અને એમને તમે શું એટલો સાથ આપ્યો કે આજે જે પણ આપણે સક્સેસ મનુભાઈ ચંદારિયા ફેમિલી, તો એમાં તમારો પણ એક ભાવ તમે સરખી રીતે ભાગ તમે ભજવ્યો છે. તો એ તમારો અમને તમારા વિશે થોડું કહો.
He talks too much. I don't have chance to talk anything.
એટલે તો આપને મોકો આપીએ છે આજે બોલો.
I don't think she's going to tell you very much.
Okay, no problem. But we do know, Arunaben, જે બહુ બોલે નહીં ને એ પાછળથી બધા બહુ કામ કરતા હોય પણ આગળ કોઈ દિવસ ક્રેડિટ લેતા નથી. તો એ છે આપણા અરુણાબેન, a human being who is a very humble human being. Thank you, Arunaben. But Manubhai, we'll move on to, because see, તમારી આપણે સ્ટોરી સાંભળવી છે, લિવિંગ લેજન્ડની, તો કલાક ઇનફ નથી. પણ સમયની મર્યાદા રાખવા માટે we have to move on a little fast because time is fast approaching, but we still have quite a few questions that I want to go through with you, Manubhai. So the next one I want to say, Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a global audience. This gentleman who's sitting there is 92 years old. Most of us at 92 are probably walking with Zimmer frames or in a wheelchair and struck with illnesses and everything. And God has been kind to Manubhai. But Manubhai, what is the driving force behind this? What is constantly keeping you charged up? And that is what us youngsters would like to know. And I qualify myself as a youngster. What would be the driving force? What is inspiring you so much?
The driving force is very simple, is to give, is to serve. And that particular part of the true word to give and to serve. Everybody, when you ask him something, will always lift their hand like this. Hardly people live and gives like this. 90% is like this. So there has to be a line drawn. And to me, there is so much of, I can only wear one suit. I cannot wear 5 suits. If you see my cupboard, there are only 5 suits. And there might be about 6 or 7 shirts. But I can't wear them. Or I can wear once, that's it. And to me, that came out with the old ideology of Gandhi. That there are so many who doesn't have anything, either materially or physically and painfully. They're paining. How about pushing them? And there's 2 ideas keeps me continuously up. When I go to sleep, I tell, Prabhu, Savarna, Sari Rite Utharche. So I'm miser, well, already asked for that I have to get up tomorrow morning. And from the morning when I go to, I make my very sure that until I sleep, my time is used as much as possible wherever I can do good, where I can help, where I can support the pain so that the people will feel okay. And I think that, such ideology only comes when you want to give. It does not come when you want to take. It's total give, nothing but give. And I think it has worked out well. And to me, at 92, when I go to sleep, in 5 minutes, I'm dead sleep, full stop. I don't know how many times says, hey, there are 5 minutes and tame sui jao. And I get up straight in the morning. After 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever I slept. No getting up in the middle, nothing. Why? Only because mentally, I'm very, very satisfied and happy. And the happiness only comes by not asking for happiness. It's making others happy. If you can't make others happy, you are not happy. You'll never have. Automatically, when my children are happy, I'm happy. Zaruna is happy, I'm happy. And I think that that's the philosophy behind it.
And Manubhai, they say કે જ્યારે ઉંમર થાય છે ત્યારે નિંદર ઘટી જાય છે. જે ઉંમરવાળા માણસોને નિંદર આવે એ ભાગ્યશાળી માણસો કહેવાય. So you are a ભાગ્યશાળી human being. You're obviously very content with what you do and your philosophy of giving and making others happy. Brilliant. That is such a wonderful quote to share. In giving and in serving, that is the driving force that Manubhai thrives on. Ladies and gentlemen, this takes me to my next question to Manubhai. Manubhai, you have become a huge successful man, a living legend. Through the journey of your life, you must have come across people who you got inspired by. Now, would you be able to share who inspired you at different stages in time? Let's take about maybe 2 to 3 minutes to answer that question, because it is a very important question. That who did you use as role models? Who did you study? Who was inspiring you constantly? It's very important for us youngsters to know that, so that we can be inspired by the same.
Is in my businesses, I always looked at Birlas. How Birla becomes successful. Ghanshyam Das Birla, how he becomes successful. How Tata becomes successful. So always keep somebody around in your mind that what you want to become. And as far as the social work is concerned, I think that so many work is done, and the people really who came in the picture was Mother Teresa, was one of them. Mother Teresa came over here, and somehow we got knowing each other, and I got so close to her. And I found that it was, to me, it felt that it's a living God. She's come to our home 4 times.
Wow, wonderful.
And she has written me the letter at 3:30 in the morning. Dear Aruna and Manu. Simple letters. But every time she came to Nairobi, she came home. Now, everything she did and everything has been, I have no argument about that. There's always a controversy about things. But what is the sum total? When you go to these homes over here, which I visited many, many times, you feel somebody is taking care of that pain that I and you and everybody is inflicted, or Mother Nature is inflicted, or they're getting old and nobody is to look after them. So to me, that was the fundamental, that how much this woman has been able to do. The second person also that came out to me in my life was Dalai Lama. Very simple. One day we were traveling together to Calcutta, and he sat about 3rd seat ahead of me. So I told Aruna, hey, come on, I want to go and say hello to him. It's Dalai Lama. And he was so polite. And so happened that he was then invited to the people. When I was in Calcutta, he was invited to that home. And we spent such a good time with him. But again, a man with strong character, a man who does not think about himself alone, who cares for others. And that's another. And when I was young, Gandhi was my hero. And like that, number of people has come and gone. Mandela was another one. The world has kept him, the South African government kept him 28 years in the jail. And when we went and saw him, he was smiling like a child. All these people that you see in life that have achieved something are away from everything and yet are bigger than what you can think about. And I think those are the samples. How many of us, our children, think about them? They'll think about an actor. They'll think about somebody, a dancer. These are not the character builders. The character builders are people who has left marks in the sand. And in spite of the rain, and in spite of the wind, those marks still remain. And that's
Amazing.
What you follow.
Amazing. Wonderful, wonderful. There was a chat box message that came up, and when I asked you about what's inspiring you, a lovely person, Nilesh Shah, said it's Manubhai's love for food and Manubhai's love for people, and that's what keeps him going. So thank you very much for that comment. And a big hello comes to Arunaben from we say Miti Shah, Mehul and Miti, and she's mentioned a connection here, but I've lost that chat right now. But Miti and Mehul Shah say a big hello to both of you. I believe, daughter-in-law of Jaya Ben. That will probably connect you more. Okay, so lovely. Now, as we said, fast approaching time, but I will still ask you this question, Manubhai. Both of you are sitting there, 66 years of an amazing married life. What was the secret that kept the two of you going so strong? It's going strong. It kept you going strong. Life has its ups and downs. Your business empire has gone through globe. What kept you stuck together as a family unit, the two of you?
Because I shut my mouth.
But one thing is very clear. When she speaks, I keep my mouth shut. When I speak, she keeps her mouth shut. But objectives makes the life. She comes from a family was so giving, when we didn't know what giving word was even. And yet, I'm a part of that giving now that makes me feel. And everything she supports back. If I say, the presidents have come over here, the ambassadors have come here, the rulers have come over in this home, I don't know how many people have been entertained. Every time she is there, and she does everything herself. Oh, there is a help. But the love for people, I admire from her. And because of that, what Manubhai is today. If people come walk in my house and get insulted, it's not her. This idiot must have done something wrong.
Aruna Ben, finally આવી ગયું કે whatever Manubhai is because of Aruna Ben. Thank you, Manubhai, for giving her all the credit. As we say,
There's nothing wrong, because that is the pillar behind me.
Thank you for saying that. Aruna Ben,
I won't, and she
a
gives.
big applause to you. Ladies and gentlemen, give Aruna Ben a massive applause. Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
Many times we forget the role they play
Absolutely.
in building the family, in giving the children's birth. We just forget so many times. But once you think, sit back and ask yourself, hey, come on now, this is talking to yourself, not talking to somebody else. Let's honestly come out. They are behind us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As they say, one of our guest speakers a few weeks ago from Nepal, he's Swami with Osho, Swami Aruna Anand. He cracked a joke, which I would love to share with you today. He said, if you look at the body parts and say that the man is the head of the family, so who is a woman then? So the simple answer came, the woman is the neck of the family, because she knows how to turn a man's head. So that is Aruna Ben. Thank you, Aruna Ben. Thank you, Manubhai. We have had an amazing session with Manubhai and Aruna Ben, and she literally has kept quiet, but she knows what she wants. She knows what she's doing, and she knows that she is the success with Manubhai. A man cannot do it on his own. Yeah, the secret of the woman is always behind him, in front of him, with him. And in this instance, we can see that the secret of their success is being together. That was the most important thing. And here, some of the things, ladies and gentlemen, yes, absolutely, unity, family is strength. Some of the things that we really picked up, and I very quickly want to summarize the points I was writing when Manubhai and Aruna Ben were discussing. Number one, family is unity. Number two, have a plan in life. He also said, hard work pays. 9 to 5 job, Or do you sacrifice your life for a huge business to be successful? Definitely not a 9-to-5 job. The I am possible attitude to keep. Agree to disagree in a family and a joint family and in a business, but move on. Respect each other. It's not mine, it's ours. To turn success into significance was a philosophy our Dr. Manubai used. He said, get involved with the organizations so you know what's happening. To give and to be compassionate is what was one of the core values at Dr. Manubai's heart. The driving force in his life has been to give and to serve. The giving attitude, which he kept going very strongly. Happiness, he said, comes from making others happy. And that is the reason why he sleeps so peacefully. He said, have some successful people in your mind. Admire them, get inspired them. He mentioned Birla, he mentioned Tata, he mentioned Mother Teresa, Dalai Lama, and Nelson Mandela, of some of the few that he was thriving with. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the legend. This is the life of a living legend. We certainly do not do any justice for 1 hour session with such a legend. But however, we get a drop of him. And this is something that we learn from, get inspired by, get motivated by such a wonderful living legend. Manubai, Arunaben, thank you so much. We quickly move on to the next section of a rapid fire round, which is the most popular on the MINLA Zoom sessions. Manubai, are we okay to play the rapid fire round?
I'm ready, but I might not be one instant word.
Well, I have a condition with you that this rapid fire round has got 20 questions. And within 5 minutes is my maximum time limit. Otherwise, Meena Ben at the other end will tell me, Lalit, tu bo var laga racho. So we have to make this into a very quick, short statement answer, but 20 questions to be answered. The clock starts now. Manubai, welcome to the MINLA Zoom session rapid fire round. Question number 1. Social media.
Can't live without that now.
The COVID-19 pandemic.
The world has to re-understand what they've been doing.
The name Dalai Lama.
A godly figure.
Pardon me, a god?
Godly figure.
A godly figure. Perfect. What does the term sacrifice mean to you?
Repeat.
What does the term sacrifice?
Give yourself first.
Thank you. Parents. Ma baap, parents.
Parents, they are the root while you're here.
Lovely answer. They are the roots while you're here. The legend, the name Mahatma Gandhi.
I haven't seen a person in this century. He is, and he will continue to remain a model for the world to follow.
Thank you. Education.
Without that, you can't grow.
The city of Jamnagar.
Beautiful city when I went there.
Compassion.
It has to be here. It has to come out. Can't remain only here.
Thank you. Asian Foundation.
Wonderful things to get together of all the Asian community.
Manubai, Jainism.
Jainism is ahimsa, aparigraha, and the 4 values of Jainism are something which are basic to life.
Thank you. The name Chandaria Foundation?
An excellent ground to really reach people.
Humility.
If you don't have humility, you're not a human being.
The name Mother Teresa.
A mother who really loves serving.
Manu Bhai, your favorite sport?
My favorite sport.
Sport. Sport. તમને કઈ રમત ગમે છે?
No sports. Zero.
No sports. Wonderful. You didn't have time for sports.
No, didn't have, even the younger age didn't have it.
Okay. The philosophy of giving.
Hmm?
The philosophy of giving.
Nothing can be better. This or this. The minute you understand that, your life go like this.
Brilliant. Gratitude.
I think the whole world, everybody must think about without somebody else and become gratified. Life is
Ugali and Sukuma Wiki.
I have tried a couple of times, but it's the national food for this country.
Perfect. The name, the legend, the Eliud Kipchoge.
Wow, what a runner. In 1 minute, less than 1 minute. Whoa.
And last question, Manu Bhai. Dr. Lalit Soda's rapid fire round.
Wow, I don't know how you find out all these questions and ask and pump and push.
Thank you. Thank you, Manu Bhai. Thank you, Aruna Ben, for being with us on this rapid fire round. MINLA thanks you from the bottom of her heart. Next, we have Meera Pandit from the Asian Foundation. Meera, are you still logged in with us, or has the technology taken you away from us? Ah, there we go. She's there.
I'm here.
Okay, so we have our lovely Meera Pandit back with us from the Asian Foundation. This is the face you want to see at Asian Foundation. She is the person you want to go to and talk to, because she is a very helpful individual working so passionately and so hard for the Asian Foundation. Meera, on behalf of the Asian Foundation, we request you to come back for a vote of thanks to our guest speaker.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lalit and Manu Bhai. That was truly, truly inspiring. And I have to say that we have the best of the world because we have learned so much from him, and Asian Foundation is there because of him. And I personally, in the last 6 years, have learned, you can't even put it in words. And he's always there for us, like our chairman said, Mr. Abello, that he really is. You just have to call him and he guides us the best way possible. From the entire Asian Foundation and our chairman and our management committee, we would like to thank MINLA for hosting this, and also hosting our chief guest, Manu Bhai, whose live I think would continue for a couple of hours. And you're right, we had to cap it to an hour, but for those of us who are blessed and who get to know more about him, I promise you it's really it's invaluable. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for everyone who's actually joined in across the screen, across the globe. And we really pray from our hearts to yours. Be safe and be well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Meera. Thank you to the Asian Foundation for collaborating with us today. And the final thank you from our super lady from the Flamingo City of Nakuru, our one and only Meenaben Kagram. Meenaben, the floor is all yours. You can have a great vote of thanks for our speaker here.
Thank you. Habari Yazjoni. Good evening, friends. This is my pleasant and humble duty to end this session with the heartiest thank you to all. My big thank you to the Asian Foundation CEO, Meera Pandit, and Chairman, Mr. Rubello, to make this session possible. Thank you, my Bapuji, Manu Chandaria, who have inspired us with his words. But most important, you have made us proud to come to support our session. You are most humble person I have ever met. You have encouraged us from first session and hardly missed 6 sessions from 60. But you will always ask for recordings. And Asandisana to all the viewer on Facebook Live and those who have joined us on Zoom. Can't end my thank you without saying thank you to my cute cousin, Dr. Lalit Soda, and our co-host, Ellie. Thank you all. Stay
Oh, very
safe.
really.
Hey, Ellie.
Hey, Ellie, the superstar, Ellie.
Hey everyone, thank
How are
you
you?
for coming.
So now we're going to going to unmute everybody, and we are going to, so you can all say hello to Manu Bhai. Stay around for next 5 minutes, please.
Manu Bhai, thank you so much. It's a pleasure, Manu Bhai and Arun.